Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first week of Emerald Draft League Season 2. My name is Uplectic Unicorn. Joining me is Kamuchi. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good as we have our current first game setup of Black Mambas versus Phoenix.
And I am excited to finally, kick the season off again. It's, bit of a long break, but glad that we are finally starting here. Like you said, the Phoenix versus Black Mambas. And we want to go quickly. What do you think about this matchup? Who do you think is going to win and why?
All right, so my current predictions is currently has Phoenix coming out ahead, clean 2-0, mainly because I know a lot of these players. They're super good. They have the macro, they have the mechanics. It's just I want to see how well they're pitted up against. But Black Mambas does have a lot of power picks according to the rankings.
Yeah, I also ended up going a 2-1 for this in favor of Phoenix. I think where Mambas has the advantage, I think they're mid jungle, especially based off exhibitions, but also just based off. I know Gale and Pity more than I actually don't know anyone on Mambas teams, so. But I think that Mambas mid jungle is stronger in terms of the 2v2 than the Phoenix. But also Phoenix has Sonic, so that might be an issue for Mambas. So I think it should be a fairly close series. But I think that the difference is really going to come down to the difference between mid and the difference between top. So I think the bot lanes are pretty evenly matched based off what we saw in exhibitions. So hopefully we'll have a good 3-game series and we'll get to show off the third game blind pick. But we'll see if we can actually get there.
Yeah, fun fact, I do play with both Icy Rain and Pity, and when they're just facing up against each other. Icy Rain is the top laner, so they're both just solo laners, just battling it out. I wonder if Pity's mid experience will be more effective or not, versus Rain, who has a lot of 1v1 experience.
Yeah, it's also I'm not sure what this current meta in terms of champion pool favors, but we're definitely seeing a lot less of the like melee assassin or bruiser type champions like Silas and Akali that we saw a lot of at the end of last year. We're seeing a lot more control mages, a lot more champions who build Rod of Ages and Seraphs because Seraphs is just absolutely broken. So we'll see. Maybe we'll get a Karma mid coming out here with
Radiant Virtue,
Radiant Virtue.
the broken item that everyone always is like, "Hey, I'm not gonna build this, but it's really good."
Yeah, you never know. Um, let's see here. Have you taken a look at any of these players' champion pools from exhibitions? Any ideas what you think they might play or what you might want to see from them, or just overall just thoughts on the current meta and maybe what the team should expect to play up against?
Well, current meta, there's a lot of strong champions. Like Maokai, I feel like is a highlight. Like Mordecai is a jungle. It can be flex top lane as well, or mid lane if you really prefer. Here, I'm completely expecting like a Lucianami or like a Zaya in there. Zaya Karma. I'm expecting a
Yeah.
lot of meta picks. I'm not expecting too much on like the player's personal picks, but Harvey, he doesn't like meta. He likes things like Zillion and stuff. So
Yeah, I feel like they might be in a bit of trouble if they try and pick Zillion into a Lucianami. But hey, all of last season, Lucianami was really strong as well, and it was never played. So, we'll have to see. But I think it's been a pretty strong consensus this first week of pro play that Lucianami and Yumi Zeri or Lulu Zeri are by far the best bot lane matchups or the best bot lanes, and there's basically no deviation from those picks unless they end up being banned.
Yeah, just get banned. Just ban those 4 champions in the beginning.
The only
we don't want
issue
to see
is
Yumi. We don't want to see a slugfest,
if you ban those champions, there's some other champions that you might be regretting not banning, like Cassidon, for example.
Kassadin Rise is a huge.
Yeah.
markup. Ever
So
since they brought back Rod of Ages and Seraphs being buffed, it's insane.
yeah, it's definitely something with that the buffs to those items. I think right might need to go back to the drawing board on those items because when Rise is a 50% win rate champion, there is an issue. Because Rise is always very strong and has a 40% win rate in solo queue when he's strong. So we'll have to see. One of the champions who doesn't quite fit into that Rod of Ages Seraph's build that's has a lot of priority right now is Syndra, who I think is just so beyond broken right now. And we'll have to see if either of the one teams want to prioritize that as so we should be getting into picks and bans here soon. Kamuchi, you did mention the Maokai. How do you feel about the AP Maokai versus the tank Maokai versus the Radiant Virtue Maokai? What do you think?
Well, either any of the Maokai builds, they all have demonic embrace, and that in itself is just provides a lot of like objective control. As we're into draft, and immediately Sonic's Trinimir gets banned. Another pick that's been in the jungle also has been the Zac. Lots of gank presence can build the Radiant Virtue. It's just a constant threat. So it looks like Black Mamas just don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Phoenix, they have an Urgot ban and a Hecarim.
I believe Slapped by Crab is an Urgot player, so looks like just playing their respect over. You know, both teams paying respect to the enemy top laners, and taking something out from the jungle as well. I think Zac is also pretty high win rate in multiple roles currently in solo queue. I don't know how effective it is in multiple roles in some sort of coordinated play, but I know in solo queue it's been doing pretty well with the kind of the similar like tank Maokai build, but with demonic embrace, and you just kind of one shot 80 carries while building tank. So it's fun times as we get the Zillion ban coming out from Mambas. So the Zillion one trick that is Harvey will not be playing that today.
I mean, to be fair, the Zac ban is also a ban on Harvey. He's played a Zac support last draft league.
True. That did in fact happen. So see what Phoenix here is going to try and round out their draft with. It's going to be the Diana. Try to take out one of the few, actually not really one of the few. Last season would have been one of the few AP junglers, but we've been seeing a lot of resurgence of a lot of AP junglers.
Yeah,
most surprisingly is Elise.
Yeah, I've seen Elise, I've seen Echo, I've seen well, Lily has always been in contention, but she isn't so strong anymore. As we have immediate Ezreal.
Ezreal first pick is a little interesting. Not sure I like that too much. Yeah. But trading over the Maokai here, and let's see if Phoenix is going to try and punish this Ezreal pick, who's not the best AD carry currently, and also according to power rankings, Sniper is also the weakest member of the Black Mambas team, but also they have the #1 ranked support. So we'll have to see if how the bot lanes match up and if they can try and punish the Ezreal. But picking this Sivir doesn't look like they're going to try too much in lane to get anything going.
You see, immediately with the Maokai Sivir, this is already scary. The trees running at you and having the Sivir speed up to just follow up within her entire team. Oh, we are getting the Ezreal Karma balling. That's just going to be a lot of poke, so it's also a relatively safe lane, so it's going to be really difficult to actually do anything against a Black Mamba's ball lane.
Yeah, it could also be going Karma mid as well. We'll have to see, especially with this. This is the type of pairing that you would want to see with the Karma mid. Some AD, early power spiking bruiser jungle like Wukong. To pair up with the Karma, you just win like so many 2v2s because of how much Karma enables her jungler with the shields and movement speed.
Yeah, I honestly forgot about the Wukong because early in preseason it was like one of the #1 picks before the new season started. So I guess we'll see how strong this Wukong can be. As Phoenix likes to round out their ball lane with the Rakan. I appreciate this pick. It's a lot of an engage option, a peel option, has sustained. It's a very versatile pick.
Yeah, Phoenix definitely already has kind of all of the buttons they need in terms of engage. They can't say that they didn't have any opportunities with how much speed up and engage they have currently. And like we were talking about, just banning out these tier Rod of Ages champions, Rise, Cassin, and Anivia, all taken off the table immediately in this second phase. So.
There is a respect ban towards the set, but how much do you think Sonic is gonna pick the Aatrox? Because Aatrox has gotten nerfed this last patch.
I haven't really paid too much attention to the Aatrox, and I'm not sure how much the nerf hit him, but we know from previously it's one of Sonic's best champions, and it looks like they missed the pick. Oh, nope. Lagging a bit, but Aatrox does actually come in. So just a little bit of a great draft lull,
It's just a small hiccup, As right. Now that the top laner is picked, they're leaving a lot of options for Pity. I think between these two teams, the mid lane matchup is going to be the most interesting to me.
Yeah, we'll have to see in that. This Gragas gets locked in. That's typically a strong answer to a lot of these bruisery type top laners. Is just you just play tank Gragas and you just kind of sustain through the lane and not really have to deal with anything. So we'll see how well Slapped can play this matchup, or if he decides to get a little spicy and go AP, which will leave him a little bit more vulnerable in the 1v1s. But and we're gonna see the Silas as well, so lots of meatballs here to try and get supported by this Karma. So we'll have to see how well they can pull this off, especially with how much disengage that the Phoenix has. It might be a little difficult for them to actually stick on the targets.
Yeah, Pity does have counter pick, and he plays a lot of control mages, and a lot of things that are just really genuinely annoying to play against. So we'll see where he rounds it off with.
Oh, look at this delay for dramatic effect. Look at it go.
Come on, lol draft. It's an Ari? Okay.
No, it's not Ari. It hasn't been locked in. We have to keep the suspense. No one knows what this champion is, what champion they're locking in.
Ari is one of Pity's safest and one of his most comfortable picks, especially going to Silas. So I wonder, we'll see how much impact he can make throughout the game. Now, so considering the draft, which team do you think has the draft advantage?
All right, so I think overall, if you can get to an even game state and you can get 2 items, I think Phoenix is in a better spot. However, my big issue with the Phoenix draft is they have their mid jungle, which I think is kind of the point that the Black Mambas can exploit, are 2 AP champions that rely heavily on CC, meaning it's really easy just to itemize into those Merc threads. And it's going to be really hard for this Ahri Maokai to actually ever win a 2v2. So I think Black Mambas has the ability to actually get a lead early in this mid-jungle duo and try and snowball the rest of the map to not let it be an even state going into 2-3 items. But I think once you start getting later and later in the game with this Sivir just hitting 3 melee champions, it's going to be really hard for Mambas to win team fights unless they can get a good angle and just blow up the Sivir instantly.
Yeah, Black Mambas does have a lot of engage options. Like Phoenix might have the Sivir with her ulti, but Karma has a constant speed up for her entire team. And that's gonna be the main focus, especially with a player like Tomato, who has shown an extreme impact within the exhibition matches. So I'm really excited to see that.
All right. And with that, we are going to take a short break, letting us delay catch up. And when we come back, we'll see our first game of the season between Black Mambas and Phoenix.
I,
However, we do have the phase rush on the Maokai, which
yeah.
typically indicates the AP version rather than. All right, and we were here, and
Our
yeah,
production just told us that we're unmuted, and
all right, so talking about this phase rush here on the Maokai being more indicative towards AP. However, he has the green jungle item, which is more indicative of tank Maokai. So what's going on here, Kabushi?
I don't like the split here. I prefer like if you're going one route, you'd better just go all in. It's a lot better stat allocation, and it's just I'm not looking for a hit and run Maokai if you're just gonna go for tank item. Although what I am looking for a hit and run is the phase rush Gragas, annoying the living hell out of the Aatrox. So that's what I'm gonna look for.
Yeah, you get the belly bop in, you auto him with your Q, and you just run away. Easy.
Ezreal did start tier instead of like an AD item, which typically you normally see like a long sword or a Thorn's blade, but he looks like it's just gonna try for a really passive lane and try not to try anything too special in this ball lane, especially since it's just like gonna be a poke lane. It's gonna be hard for the Rakan to engage in the first place.
Yeah, I think really only Mambas can decide if they want to do something in this lane just because of the pushing power they have with Karma. But with Ezreal going tier, I think that's kind of pretty clear indication that they're not looking to do anything. So it should just be a straight farm fest for about 20 minutes.
Yeah. The main eyes are gonna be on this mid lane. They're just gonna be constantly poking. This Arya is gonna have somewhat an advantage over the Silas in these early levels, and you can already see how much poke Rain is taking. Already having to blow one potion.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those matchups where Ari wants to play this super aggressively, but has to be careful for the jungle timings. And Iconic looking for maybe a wraparound here up in the top lane, predicting the Maokai pathing, but finds out that he's taken his red buff, but not the Krugs. And we'll see if he's looking here for this top lane gank. Aatrox doesn't have a ward because it's in the river currently, so we'll see if he plays too aggressively and uses his dash. It looks like they're going in now, as Aatrox might have to burn the flash here, and he does. And has to be careful of a redive here, but it looks like they're just going to back off, and he'll get out with just the flash burned.
Yeah, it's still the early levels. They can just come back for the Aatrox later. And not too many things lost, but we'll see how strong Sonic can farm. We can already see a small CS lead coming in, especially after the first wave, which is generally not what you'd like.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have minded them just waiting a couple seconds and going for that redive. It was a pretty stacked wave, and they know that Maokai was on the other side of the map and wasn't going to be able to, counter it, and they didn't really use anything to set up. So they could have just waited for some cooldowns and dive him again. But I respect not trying to go forward and losing your first game of the season at 3 minutes from a failed dive.
Phoenix is setting up vision control around the dragon.
Oh, as Gale comes in, he falls to flashback. Oh, but he knocks him out of the Rakan knockup. But look, Tomato is trying to run away. Doesn't have his flash and should just go down here. And that's going to be first blood over to the Sivir. And a good gank by Gale with that flash twisted advance coming.
Yeah, the Wukong is hovering around top side, knows that the Aatrox doesn't have flash.
Oh, he just used his dash as well. He has no way to get out of this. He should go down. Just make sure he doesn't trade it back, and Crab isn't able to get out of that snapback. So Sonic will go down there and a trade back over to this Wukong. As Pity drops the Ignite, but didn't have any abilities up to follow up on that. So, Rain just gets a free Ignite out of where he was already playing to back anyway.
Yeah, we can already tell like the focus of where Black Mama wants to be, but I feel like this is just a lack of understanding that if your jungle is on the opposite side, you're already in a risky spot. Sonic put himself in a risky spot. I feel like he shouldn't have died there, but I guess his wave stay was in a pretty bad spot.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those spots where you probably just have to play safe and tell Gale that he needs to come up as soon as he backs off of that bot lane play and just reset the wave for him. Because, like you said, the wave was in a really bad spot for him. It could easily be frozen on him, but without flash, you just can't play that aggressively with no wards. So, good punish by the Black Mambas. As a little bit of a gold lead going over to Phoenix, just that first blood. Plus, we are opening up a pretty big CS lead here down in the bot lane. 10 CS up already, and we got, a full wave of caster minions there to pick up as well. with both junglers hanging around bot side. So we might see a contest for this dragon. Or Phoenix might just decide to give it up as Ahri was in base as well. So looks like it's going to be a first dragon over to Mambas unless Gale can find a way to steal this.
No, they have the early rotation. Bot lane pushed up really fast to try to get the early. And it looks like Gale is already in the... can't even get into this dragon pit, so it's guaranteed secured for Black Mamba at this point.
Yeah, looks like that's going to go down at the cost of Icy Rain. He tried to get that pick off and burned that Ignite, but just was able to get full control of that jungle, make sure that there was no chance Phoenix could get in there to contest. And we're still seeing some scrapping going on now. Ahri was peeking her head in the river, but with everyone else backing, probably shouldn't take that 2v1. And looks like we'll be backing off after taking some damage here, but got to be careful here. Itonic's looking to burn the ult and is going to get it just for the clone cooldown here. So honestly, well played by this Wukong so far. Really good pathing, just barely committing to these ganks and getting Summoners out of it. But now we get Sonic popping the ult to go for an all-in, but immediately Gragas just knocks him away with that keg. And that's going to be the end of that fight up in top lane.
Yeah, a lot of respect towards the Gragas pick. It's genuinely just so funny because it's specifically just to cancel Sonic out. Sonic is so used to getting all these solo kills, getting like a huge CS lead, and being able to deny a lot of CS from his lane partner. But this actually looks like a good matchup. It'll really test the barrier on which these two top laners are gonna go against.
All right, so I know about a minute ago we said there was a 10 CS lead in bot lane. Now there's a 24 CS lead in bot lane. What's going on down here?
It could just be too focused on trading, even though this is supposed to be a passive farming lane in the first place. Like you can already see that the Ezreal is giving up some CS just to get rid from the boomerangs. But
definitely not what you want to see when you're picking Ezreal. Kind of just play safe and go even. And being down CS already this early is not a good sign. You can see that that's a 1.3k gold lead, and I bet most of it is probably on this Sivir between that CS lead and First Blood.
There is almost a 20 CS lead going over to the Arya as well, considering Sylas. It's a rough matchup for Sylas for sure, but it's the CS leads for these lanes are gonna go out with the bot side being really strong. It's gonna be a bit problematic if we go into the mid game. We are seeing Iconic come back.
We're gonna get a play here, but Pity's ult is already back up and was able to dodge out of that, trading his ult for both of theirs, and now we have Gale coming into the top lane, trying to get a play here. The Gragas still has his ult, but it's not gonna do anything. He burns his flash late to try and build some space, but he's not gonna be able to get out as the slow from the red buff is enough to keep him in range. And that's a bit unfortunate, burning the flash in that situation. I don't think there was ever a world where he was escaping, so.
How low of a cooldown is Maokai W? He dodged the Gragas barrel.
I think it's like a 8 seconds, 10 seconds, something like that early on. You only put 1 point into it, so probably somewhere around there.
Yeah, how did he just miss a Maokai? Because Maokai had used it in the beginning of the gank.
Did he? I thought he just threw out the ult and the Q.
It went the ult into the W into the Q.
I am not sure then, but looks like.
Anyways, the Reptile play is coming out for Phoenix.
Yeah, we'll see if they can just take this. Both supports ended up roaming up, but it looks like Tomato decided to turn back around and walking back towards the Herald. We'll see if they try to contest here, but it doesn't look like they're interested as Wukong is still clearing his camps as Sylas goes back to the lane. And a good rotation here by Sivir, but kind of...
Karin is just running into.
Yeah, a good rotation, a little bit awkward of an angle coming into mid lane, but I like the idea. Being sure that you're there, you can cover mid wave if Pity has to go to fight for Herald, and you just always have the numbers advantage with Ezreal being shoved in bot lane. So
yeah, it's gonna be so hard for the Ezreal to even gain prio in this bot lane and be able to rotate. The most he'll ever be able to contribute in the fight, if this continues on, will be his ulti. As we see a small engage. Oh my god, the
Good
mechanic.
charm there by Pity, able to cancel out that dash so he doesn't get all in there. Like you said, he's getting up to that 20 CS lead now. He's should start seeing some first items coming out soon, and the Herald's just going to immediately drop top lane, get Sonic more of that gold. As we can see across the board, it's 20 CS lead in every single lane and a 3k gold advantage already over to Phoenix, but now Mambas are trying to make a play here as Wukong's coming in. As the root lands onto Harvey, he has no way out. He's just going to go down. Wukong trying to follow up for more, but it's not going to have enough damage to take out that Sivir. But once again, Wukong being in the right place to punish a play that Gale is trying to make on the other side of the map, and Phoenix just not respecting the counterplay.
And it's just in time for the dragon. They're just gonna get immediate dragon control. They know that the Maokai is topside as as the Herald is dropped up there. So I personally think it's just a lot of disrespect on Harvey to not see that his jungle is on the opposite side of the map.
Looks like they're trying to dive this, but I don't think you can. Gale is just going to start tanking the tower. We'll see. And oh, that was a lot of damage that came out.
So much damage already.
I was not expecting the Gragas to die so quickly, but he is going the AP build, so definitely less tanky than we were anticipating from draft. But just immediately goes down, and now Iconic has to run back to his team away from this Ahri, as he does not want to take that 2v1 without his ult.
Yeah, now we're seeing Sonic in the form of has a 20 CS lead now. Has a CS lead, has a gold lead. All the lanes are just in. Phoenix has the advantage in all the lanes at the moment, which is not really what you want to see, especially in early game oriented team like Black Mamba at the moment with the draft.
Yeah, as they're trying to make another play on this Ahri, but no ult to Wukong. The Ahri still has ult, just a little bit of damage. But yeah, this was, like you said, this was kind of the hole that they put themselves in, as Icy Rain actually is going in for the all-in, flashes under turrets, trying to follow up, and he does get the kill, and just uses that last charge to get out. He still has one left from the reset, now trying to navigate his way out of the jungle, and looks like he's going to get out, running to his Gragas for some support, and well played by him, solo killing Pity under turret.
Miguel is still trying to get in, but I don't think he's gonna happen. The Gragas ult disengaged.
Oh, the cat's actually caught up to Rain, and now he's in a bit of trouble, starting to get tagged by that Maokai. See if this Gragas is able to peel for him, but it doesn't look like he will be able to, and Sonic will pick up his first kill of the game.
Oh, always punished. That's unfortunate. He was trying to go for the Great Escape, but Maokai has a lot of chasing potential. He did go the Lucidity boot, so he'll have that all his cooldowns up a lot faster for that CC.
And they also are going to knock down this first turret as well, getting Sonic even more gold here. Now we're up to a 4,000 gold lead over Phoenix at 14 minutes, or almost 15 minutes. And, that was kind of something we talked about, how the Mambas wanted to really try and get a lead early on here. As Crab actually gets pulled back here, I don't think anyone's going to die here as he gets phase rush and just walks away, but now Gale has to be a little bit of trouble as Iconic is looking for the play, doing a lot of damage, and is actually just going to take him down in the 2v3, but now gets rooted up, trying to take out Harvey as well. But Harvey is going to get out, and Iconic barely goes down to that last tick of damage, and now they all got to scatter as Icy Rain is trying to chase down Harvey, and looks like his team is just letting him die. No one cares.
No.
No one cares about the support's life as now Icy Rain. He tries for his Great Escape version 2.
Yeah, he is surrounded a lot more. He's gonna try to look for something on Pity, but I don't think it's gonna happen, especially with Sonic there.
Yeah, man, Icy Rain might need to improve on his Great Escape mechanics. As Sonic is just destroying this Ezreal, hitting 2 sweet spots on those Qs. Already doing a ton of damage. And things just aren't looking any better for the Black Mambas.
We're already seeing a lot of these first items come out, and as much playmaking as Black Mamba's mid and jungle are trying for, as far as the rest of the game goes, they're gonna need so much more coordination with the team, trying to find these picks, trying to find like more favorable team fight. But Phoenix, as it gets later into the game, they have way too much utility to just cancel anything that Black Mamba has. We're gonna see how Black Mamba is able to crawl back into this game.
Yeah, I think these CS leads kind of just tell the story of what's been going on this early game. Is the Mamba laners have just been getting outlaned by their counterparts, whether it's from skill or from picking certain matchups. I think they've really put themselves in a hole here, and they have to try and show us some good coordination to get back in it. They are on 2 dragons here, so maybe with a misplay from Phoenix, they can get onto Dragon Soul and maybe flip a soul to try and get back into this game. But it looks like Phoenix is setting up nice and early for this dragon, making sure that they get this 3rd one and don't let Mambas get onto Soul Point as they look to go in onto Crab, but he's able to get out as Iconic goes in to try and peel for him, pops the ult as he's having to run away from his life as the Maokai ult was able to land the root on the clone instead. As Phoenix isn't really finding any of their engage, and now Icy Rain is here, stealing the Aatrox ult. He lands the chains and he flies himself in there. Now Sonic looking to return some damage, but he's ignited, flashes forward, but misses the sweet spot on that Q. But Iconic goes down to the Sivir, and now Icy Rain is deep in the backline, not able to pick anything up. As Pity flashes over the wall with a little bit of a delayed charm there, as Gragas is able to escape. But that was a 4v5 the whole time, and they ended up trading it back 2 for 2, but it looks like Phoenix should be able to get this dragon now.
Yeah, the Ezreal opted to just throw an ulti and try to get some tower damage, but overall, it looked like Phoenix, they used so many ultis in the beginning just to try to get the Gragas that a lot of their deaths was just because they were vulnerable due to not having any cooldown. Sure, they get the objective done of getting the dragon control they wanted, but trading some gold, that could be a bit risky considering the 2 kills did go into the mid jungle of Black Mamba. Their current win condition, one might say.
Yeah, and you always have to be careful of the Sylas scaling into the game. Phoenix does have a lot of CC, but now Pity might be in trouble. He does have his ult here. Assuming he has mana, not even gonna have to use it as Iconic doesn't want to use his ult either. But always have to be careful of the Sylas scaling into the game. Phoenix does have a lot of CC for him between the Maokai and the Rakan. But if he goes unchecked in a fight, he can definitely just rip through everyone. So it's kind of what Mambas are hoping for with this mid-jungle. Create enough distraction and damage to carry them through this fight to try and get themselves back into it.
Sylas is going a really defensive build though. The Roa into Azanias, it looks like, coming into the later game. He's just going for survivability and trying to become a frontline menace, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I think hold that thought, because now Pity is looking for, he forces the flash with the Everfrost and then lands the charm after the shift. Has no more ult charges left, but just one more auto attack is going to take him out. And well done by Pity, just holding that charm, waiting for the flash to come out, waiting for the arcane shift to come out, and knowing there was nothing left for Ezreal to do before actually throwing that out. As now we might be getting an engage here in the top lane after that Herald goes down. They're looking for someone with the Sivir ult, but it doesn't look like they're going to find anything as Mambas are able to back away safely. But that's not what you want to see. Another kill going over to this Ahri, plus a Herald picked up as well. It's gonna, at the very least, is gonna secure them that mid tier 2 if they can't get that by themselves already, as it's pretty damaged to start with. And Mamba's just losing a lot of map control here.
Yeah, if we look at the builds here, this Ezreal, he hasn't even finished his Muramana. He's trying to go for the Ravenous Hydra build at the moment, but I feel like he's getting farther and farther behind. A lot of his build is just mainly components. Doesn't even have a mythic started yet.
Yeah, so, and with Ezreal, if they don't go Triforce, they're probably not going a mythic until very late anyway. But yeah, he is falling behind here as Pity actually burns that stopwatch, maybe expecting a Gragas ult, but it never shows up. And that's just going to be a kill going over to this Gragas and a stopwatch down. He has some building Zonia, so hopefully he'll have that up soon, but a little bit of a misplay there from Pity, pushing up a little bit too far. And you can see this CS graphic here, if you just kind of shows every single one of the laners on Phoenix is ahead of their not only their counterparts, but just everyone on the Mambas in terms of CS. And I mean, this Sivir is already over 200 CS, 21 minutes, pretty expected, I'd say, for, Sivir as a champion, but good to see maintaining that CS and more of these like hectic games that we have here. So
They're trying to let us drop bot side, and it only got like a really weak tower, so not too much value from there. However, there is a lot of vision control around this Baron. It's gonna be something that Mamba has tasked to fight for. They don't have too much wave clear other than the Ezreal Karma, so it has to be one of their main priorities, trying to get the vision control over there. But it looks like they're just gonna play towards the bot side, gain the vision where they can.
Dragon is up in a minute, so we'll see if they can find themselves a position, maybe find themselves an angle they like to go for that engages. This Rod of Ages is almost fully stacked for Icy Rain, so we'll see if maybe they want to try something here, but with everyone backing, might not even get back in time to set up anything, as Phoenix is here right on time, clear out all the vision, set up their own vision, and it looks like it's going to be a little bit difficult for Mambas to even get close to this objective. As we have the Gragas poking around here, they do spot him out, but decide that's not the target they want to go for, and content to just wait here for this dragon, try and force a 5v5 where they should be feeling pretty confident in themselves to win this, as Sonic is just going to early TP, not looking for some sort of flank, just being there with his team as Dragon is started here by Phoenix.
It's already so rough for them to walk in, though. They have the Maokai saplings, and they're already trying to start the team fight.
Going in as Sonic gets a huge knockup into the Harvey knockup and charm as Iconic tries to peel for his team with that Wukong ult, but it's just not doing enough damage as now Rain gets caught out with the charm. Doesn't have any chance of that as Ezreal is now running for his life, but with the Sivir speed boost, he's not going to get very far. And that's another one down as Sonic is just running amok through this rest of the team. That's going to be a 4-for-0 going over to Phoenix's as Iconic is just running for his life away from Sonic.
They didn't even hesitate on that gold button. They saw the Maokai saplings already start chipping at them, and that slow just started off with this huge engage. You can see they can't even handle Sonic in the backline. There's literally 3 members trying to deal with him, and Ezreal just gets caught out here. He's doomed. He's forever lost. And you can see Sonic still going in, getting another kill, and Iconic just barely escaping with his life.
Yeah, it's a bit rough there. I do like the proactiveness of Phoenix. As soon as that Maokai ult hit on the Gragas, they said, hey, this is AP Gragas. We don't care if this is the target we're going on here. And Pity immediately just charms him and then start the engage off of that. And then once they find a more priority target with Sonic and Harvey's follow-up engage, they immediately swap focus and force out the Wukong before continuing on to the Gragas, which is really well played by them, identifying the threats that are in the fights and making sure they address the highest priority.
Yeah, 7k gold lead coming in for Phoenix as Icy is trying to do something onto Pity here.
It actually forces the flash out with the trade of Ahri ults. Now they're just going to immediately start this Baron. They know Ezreal is bot lane, they know Sylas is bot lane, neither of them have TP to join. So at the best, it's a 4v3, and it doesn't even look like Mambas is looking to contest here. They're poking him really late, but not going to be able to get it. As now Harvey is looking for that engage, finds the Karma with the charm. And that's Karma going to go down as Iconic tries to run for his life, but Sonic doesn't want anyone escaping. It's going in, that Wukong ult finally comes out, but the Sivir is just ripping through his health bar as one last auto after the flash follows through and takes him out. And now the Gragas is next. He gets pulled back. They don't even care about the tower. Finally, they're going to back up here. That's just another 2 picks after the Baron buff, as they're opening up this 9,000 gold lead and looking to close out game 1 pretty soon.
Yeah, two people on Black Mamba went ball side. They saw both Rain and Sniper both down there, and there's no way of getting to the Baron. There's just a pure give at that point. No vision control, no setup, no even team members. And how did they get rid of this wave? The cannons are just gonna be free hitting the entire time.
Let's see what Phoenix decides to do. They actually give up that cannon menu as they maybe decide they want to wait for the next waves, but decide instead they're just going to take a recall here. So, Black Mambas gets a bit more time, but that Sivir just completed the Infinity Edge. So I don't know how much time is actually going to help the Mambas here. As now the Sivir's on 3 items, and it's really hard for the Wukong to kill by himself. And I mean, Phoenix has just done such a great job of hitting the highest priority closest target to them and not over chasing or ignoring targets and leaving their Sivir out to die. So it's going to be a tall task here for Mambas, and we'll see if they can find some magic here to pull it off. But it looks pretty bleak at this point for her.
Yeah, they're praying for a misposition. They're praying for maybe a convergence. Maybe just like start something with all 5 members. You can start to see Rain is positioning something in a level 16 Atra while he's level 14.
Yeah, and that's with the free level that Rod of Ages gives you. So that's not the greatest sign. As now this turret is about to fall, and now Icy is in a bit of trouble here as the turret goes down. The Maokai ult comes out. TP comes in to try and help him, but by the time that lands, he's already almost dead. He does get the Zhonya's off to buy some more time. But in the meantime, Karma gets caught in the rotation and goes down, and Gale doesn't even care. He's still going forward, ignoring that tower. Ezreal gets caught out, CC chain. And now Wukong is left all by himself, just running outside of his base. Nothing he can do to stop this, and this should be...
Stop the wave. But he gets caught out. Freya is chasing after the Wukong, but it's going to be grim. It's looking like the end of the game for
maybe he'll kill Gale before the game ends, as Gale has now decided he can't actually stall the Wukong any longer and is looking to retreat back to his team, but his team doesn't care about his life, and Gale is going to go down right as Phoenix here is ending the game and taking the 1-0 lead in this series.
Yeah, after a whole bunch of like just bad fights, you even saw the classic Sonic move of trying to mitigate him by ganking him. He still gets the CS lead. Still gets the level lead. He still gets all the pressure in the world. They don't. Yeah. It feels like they don't have too big of an answer, especially with the Gragas pick being that answer in the first place.
Well, it is just game 1, and we'll see, what Mambas can do in their going into game 2. See what changes they want to make up. I would like to see them just go for more priority lanes to pair with Iconic. You saw how proactive he was in the jungle in the early game, always making plays. If he sees Gale on one side of the map, he's making plays on the other, being super proactive. And we'll see if they're able to change something up in game 2 to pull it back to 1-1. But for now, Phoenix takes the 1-0 lead, and we'll be going to a quick break as we wait for the teams to get ready. And we are back for game 2 between Phoenix versus Black Mambas, with Phoenix up with a 1-0 lead as the Urgot ban, and immediately that Maokai is going to be taken off the board by Black Mambas, not wanting to deal with it again.
It makes sense, obviously, to how much punishment Gale was able to put out with the Maokai. And again, with the Zac ban, it's targeting poor Harvey and his support Zac.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they're targeting.
Yeah, they really don't like the Urgot pick, not letting a Slap by Crab become that threat. As Diana ban once again. Looks like similar bans coming in from Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix just sticking with these same bans so far. Black Mambas only changing up that Maokai, but now Phoenix is first picking Ezreal, and I do not know what's happening here.
Is Ezreal a priority pick? Like,
I think blue side of whatever draft flow link you're sending is mind controlling blue team into first picking Ezreal. Because that's the only explanation I have for the high priority these teams are putting on it right now.
is Ezreal gonna be like the highest picked champion in this draft league? If so, why? There's so much more. That's what I like to see. I like to see a Thresh. I like to see the playmaking. Tomato bring him back from exhibition.
All right, so a little sneak peek here into the exhibition stats for people who might not know. Ezreal was in fact the most played champion in exhibitions, but more importantly, Tomato played Thresh twice and didn't die. So
this is
we'll
the
see if he
statement
can.
champion right now.
We'll see if he can continue his perfect KDA on Thresh support, where Phoenix will finally deliver him his first death, as the Jinx is going to be paired along with it.
Already looking for like a really hyper carry, more active bot lane this time around. Like, because if Ezreal gets hit by the Thresh hook, he can E, but the Thresh can and will follow.
Just don't get hit, as Harvey's going to lock in the Zillion.
Yes, the Harvey signature draft pick at the moment.
The quintessential most passive lane in existence. Ezreal Zillion. You know, I would have taken Ezreal Yumi. I think it would have been more interactive.
But we're seeing a Sejuani coming out from Gale, also known as one of his best picks. I've seen the Sejuani band in pro play as well. Must be really afraid of just how much utility the Sedge can bring in, but a jungle Viego to answer that. Viego's real scary at any stage of the game.
Yeah, Viego can definitely just pop off at any point in the game if he gets the right possessions. He is a little bit weaker than he was, you know, when he was kind of the S tier of junglers, but still definitely a strong pick here. And you know, it's a great counter pick into if you think someone on the other team is going to get fed. You just kill them and become them.
So Anivia Rise Castle is going to be the bans, right?
Yeah, it's we'll see here if we'll see if the casting comes out. You know, Icy Rain in chat when casting was banned the first time said, "What the hell? I don't even play Kassadin." So said he's never played Kassadin before. So we'll see if they believe him or if they continue banning that out.
What if it's all the mind games? What if he's just trying to get the Kassadin underneath his belt?
Yeah.
There's the respect Aatrox ban we were looking for.
Aatrox comes out. We'll see what Sonic decides as his third most frequently picked top laner. We'll see what he decides to go with here.
I'm trying to remember Sonic's third pick when it comes to top lane. I remember it was still something aggressive.
I know he played Aurelia. I'm not sure if that's what he's going to try and blind pick this game. I think that might be a bit ambitious to just, you know, blind pick the Aurelia. But hey, if you're feeling
it... Cassante! I never thought I'd see Sonic on an actual tank.
That's not Sonic.
Oh no, wrong team.
Wrong team.
Never mind. That's a slap by Crab. Never mind. Maybe we will see Sonic on Aurelia.
So one thing I've noticed that seems to be a pretty good answer into Cassante is Gwen. I'm not sure Sonic's proficiency on Gwen. It would also mean that they really want Pity to lock in, you know, more of an AD threat, but Sonic's just going to go for his set. Not sure how well that matchup's going to play out. I feel like Cassante should have a pretty clear advantage, especially if Sonic can't land a very big true damage haymaker. But we'll have to see. Sonic has, you know, outplayed people before with set, so we'll see if he can do it again here. What are they going to lock in here for Pity as their final pick? And it is just going to be another Ahri game coming out of Pity.
Still, again, one of Pity's most comfortable champions, as Rain is looking at a Zed pick here.
Hovering the Zed pick, you know, maybe he just saw, you know, the last regular season game of last, you know, split where Pity pulled out the Zed and ran it down, but is going to lock in the Swain instead. So a pretty, you know, beefy front line here for this Jinx to kind of sit behind. However, the Swain Cassante are probably less durable than the Sejuani says. So we'll see how well they can front to back here and see if Freya can actually have some impact here on this Ezreal. Because last game Ezreal did not look too good.
Yeah, but to be fair, the one thing that I want to see Black Mama do is bring their AD carry into these fights. The majority of the game, even for like every single objective, the sniper was just not a part of a part of the fight. If anything, he was just run down at the very end of the fight, not making too big of an impact. So we'll see. We'll see how well he's going to be able to pop off on this Jinx, get the resets, try really aggressive, really good support that has 0 deaths currently.
Yeah. Does Jace get her passive reset off of a Zillion revive, or is it only on actual takedowns?
I believe it's only on takedowns because you don't get it off of GA revive.
All right, so we'll see if Harvey can delay that reset and give Phoenix the opportunity to actually collapse and take out this Jinx, but definitely have to pay respect to this front line. You can't just tunnel straight past him and go on to this Jinx. If you ignore Swain, Cassante, Viego, you're going to die. So we'll see how well they can position here. Ezreal should be fairly safe from these champions, as long as he's not wasting his Arcane Shift, and plus having a Zillion to back him up as well. Should be fairly safe, but we'll have to see how well they can position in these fights. Any predictions going to this game? What do you think about these drafts and who's coming out with the win?
I gotta say, Black Mama's draft is looking a lot more like a high skill execution, and typically in these draft leagues you look for the easier execution in the team comp. So it looks like my foot would still be Phoenix in this draft.
All right, well, we'll see if they can pull it out and tie up the series 1-1, or Phoenix is going to take the first 2-0 victory of the season. We'll be back shortly with the match. And we are back for game 2 between Phoenix and Mambas as we get an invade here coming up from Mambas, and see if this Thresh can land a hook. It's probably secure something as they finally spotted, and the hook comes out with the speed boost leveled up by Harvey, level 1, is able to get them out of danger. Well played, holding on to that the skill point until you actually need it, and not having to burn the flash because of it.
Yeah, that's gonna be a repeated offense against the Thresh at the moment, because having a Zillion, having that speed up, is just gonna make it really easy to dodge a lot of the hooks. Tomato's gonna have to find some really good angles or some really unexpected flash plays in order to even get on top of the Ezreal or Zillion. So we'll see how that plays out. I think our highlight matchup of this game would be the top lane, the Set versus the Cassante.
Yeah, I'm really not sure how this matchup plays out, as it looks like Sonic is confident in his level 1, as he's going to find the Cassante in the bush level 1 and just start trading. Does have to be a bit careful of Viego walking in, and we'll just back out. But if we take a look at mid lane, an interesting choice from Icy Rain here, going with Glacial Augment on the Swain. It's definitely not something I'm used to seeing on the Swain here.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about on the Swain. I usually see things like Conqueror and whatnot, and you already have one Glacial Augment on the team in the form of Thresh. So it doesn't really stack too well.
Yeah, especially with your typical CC with Swain is using your claw and pulling them back into your eye, which is also a slow, and that's a guaranteed hit already. So the Glacial seems a bit excessive, but we are getting a pretty big trade here. Sonic actually fully stacked up his lethal tempo and is actually just going to take him out level 2 with some auto attacks. No summoners burned. And that's just a pure disrespect of the damage coming out from top lane and slapped by Crab. And Sonic starts game 2 with that solo kill that he was missing in the first one.
Yeah, it's he really was like, hey, so I won first game. Now what can I do this game? he's felt out his opponent. Now it's no time to joke around.
Yeah, that was just Sonic's warm up getting into the league. Now he's all primed and ready to go. As we'll see if Cassante can kind of stabilize this matchup here. Yeah, with that lethal tempo on the set, he's definitely just, if you start getting into those auto attack trades with him, it's probably not going to be the best of times. So as now Gale's actually up here looking for a gank. The wave is frozen and Gale's going to flash in to get the knockup, immediately trading flashes, and Sonic's just ghosting for it, but not going to find it. Now Itonic is trying to look for something, but no follow-up in range. So Flash is traded on jungle and top lane, with I think the wave in a pretty bad spot for Crab. So we'll see if anything comes out of that, as they have split the map, and Gale is looking to go right back up top lane. No flash it up if he can land it, but now the Thresh hook actually lands onto the Ezreal. He barely misses the Flay Black into the traps, and now the pain is on Tomato as the stun lands. He gets slowed up by Harvey, and now they're chasing, but the Viego is already here looking for the play. As slapped by Crab, it looks like he's getting out. He actually almost kills Gale, and Gale barely doesn't get minion blocked into the turret, as both sides of the map survive the respective ganks.
They're running a thin line of trying to survive these ganks at the moment. And Black Mamba really really pushing an advantage, as Sonic's now going again against the... no, nothing's happening. It's fine.
Yeah, just looking for those trades. Trying to force Crab to walk up, maybe and take it unfavorable, trying to force this to wave out, maybe look for another solo kill with no summoners in top lane. Besides that TP, it's very dangerous to be sticking around here. This Vision's about to expire. It looks like Rain might be moving up to help support him and push out this wave, but he is spotted on Vision, so Sonic should know this is happening.
Yeah, he's probably just going up there trying to reset the wave, because the Cassante already lost so much CS, 10 CS down, and he can't even get in range without not feeling safe. It's just too big of a risk, especially when you have that low mana and leaving your wave state like that. Real rough.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that is one improvement we've seen from just so far in one game we've watched, or 2 games we've watched of Sonic, is in season 1, everyone would have just left their top laner and said, you're screwed, figure it out yourself. And Sonic would have just started building up a massive advantage in the lane there. But at least the Mambas here recognizing it. Now Pity actually gets pulled into the tower, takes 2 turret shots, and has to burn the ult. Walking a little bit too close to those caster minions there is. Now has to be real careful as Itonic and Thresh are coming in looking for it. He's going to burn that last charge of the ult just to reset the wave and run away. And we'll live to see another day, but playing with fire there in that mid lane.
Yeah, I would like to see Black Mama try to set up more for this dragon. They did a really good job last game in the early. As, once again, Crab is fighting Sonic here. Yeah, he does have a level disadvantage at the moment.
Yeah, now that Sejuani's here, that stun's going to land out, and they're just going to secure that kill. Straight over to Sonic. That should be the green light here, as Mambas is now doing the dragon themselves. So, going to be trading their top laner here, but you can see already a 20 CS lead, 2 kills down in this matchup here. And now Rain's trying to force out a trade here from Pity, but it's got to be a bit careful. One more charm could land. But now Itonic is finally here, but the claw does miss, and Ari's just going to be able to walk away. Good job by Pity so far of pulling a lot of pressure in mid lane, but not falling to any ganks so far.
Yeah, probably just there to reset the wave. Rain is getting low. He was forced to miss that cannon, unfortunately.
You hate to see it. It's okay. It's worth 1 less gold. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
big copium. It's not the same as the other units. It looks like just a bit of a reset here. As Itonic's got to be a bit careful with his laners resetting, but he has the Blast Column plus a Thresh to get him to safety, so should be just fine. Just make sure you don't walk up into that Ahri who's collapsing down river. But if we take a look at this bot lane, it's overall just dead even in terms of CS. There's a 1 CS lead right now, but now it gets tied up as Freya misses a CS. And now he brings it back +1 again. But not too much happening down here in bot lane. Like you said, it's a little hard for Thresh to actually find a play with how much mobility this bot lane has. But this mid lane, opening up a little bit over a 10 CS lead here in this mid lane. And now Ari's just walking straight bot here, looking for a play, maybe reading that Itonic is looking to make a gank here and having a 4v3 set up as Harvey's just walking straight into a hook to try and bait. And now they see Gale and see if they try to go in this. They still don't know Ahri is here, and they should find out soon here as Sniper has to flash for his life. As the Ahri charm comes out, and it does land, but Gale gets pulled under turret, but it isn't going to go down. He had the Zillion ult as well, just in case. So well executed by Phoenix is kind of reading that play was happening and bringing an extra man down instead. But now Sonic is being pulled under turret, and he misses the Haymaker, and he's going to go down. And that's a solo kill for Slap by Crab underneath the turret. As the Cassante ult is just fair and balanced.
Yeah, that's essentially the bread and butter of any Cassante top lane that you want to look at. The knock up into the dash behind, into the ulti, into the dash reset. It's so good. It makes, considering that's also unstoppable, there isn't too much to outplay it other than recognizing the distance it can go. It's absolutely insane how far that thing can go.
Yeah, especially if he lines it up with a long wall. You can just take someone out of the fight and start your own 1v1. It's like Mordekaiser, but instead of going into a death realm, you go to the other side of the map. It's, that's the good sign of life here for Mambas, getting that kill up in top lane. They're now trying to even out this game, only down 700 gold at the moment, but they do have that first dragon as well, and I think their lanes just in general are in a lot better spot than they were last game, which is not something you typically would think when you've seen the top laner die twice and be down 20 CS at 10 minutes. But the whole map was pretty abysmal for Mambas in the first game, so pretty much anything is better after that.
Yeah, Gale is looking to try something around the Rift Herald. I think he's already started it. And his team is already on the rotation towards it. There might be a small skirmish, but I think that's going to go over to Phoenix.
All right, we'll see. There's a little bit of posturing coming out from the Mambas, but they're walking in late, and they should just back off here, seeing that go down. But the charm does land on Icy Rain, but the Sejuani ult whiffs, and now they chain CC coming out onto Ahri, having to burn that flash just to get away, and now Gale is being run down, trying to get to that blast cone. Oh, the Jinx ult comes over and snipes the Ahri, not expecting that coming through at all. As they're going to take down the Sejuani as well, and 2 kills going over to Black Mambas in exchange for that Herald, and now Sonic's got to run for his life. He's going to get knocked back up and has to ult to try and build some space. Oh, and Slap just didn't quite find the angle, but it's not going to matter. It is going to matter.
Oh my God.
As the huge haymaker comes in, and Iconic barely lives with 1 HP as they run for their lives from Sonic, as Crab just barely missed that angle to ult Sonic back into the team.
Oh my God, that was so clutch by Sonic just to get that kill. Now we're seeing the 20 CS. This is gonna be the meme that we're gonna see with Sonic throughout the season. Just 20 CS up constantly.
You know, I once knew a top laner who said that he was, in fact, a level 3 gank. Seems like Sonic is attempting to embody that, as it seems like ganking him doesn't always go well for your team. As now Tomato's getting run down by this Ezreal and Zillion, and he might just get his first death on Thresh coming down, and it is secured by Harvey. As now Iconic is getting exhausted, that Zillion all onto Ezreal to resurrect him, and they can't find enough damage to finish off Harvey. Finally they do with that Jinx ult, but now Rain is in a horrible situation, trying to run for his life, but he's gonna go down. Now Sniper without any flash, he should be going down here too, trying to get a return kill, but it's not going to be enough, as Pity's barely able to survive with that help from his passive. And that's going to be a huge win going over to Phoenix, plus getting this second dragon and stopping any sort of stag.
Yeah, that was just getting caught out of position. Tomato, is that Tomato's first death?
That is his first death on Thresh. He did die while playing Seraphine in his exhibitions, but not on Thresh.
Okay. The Thresh statistics are gone. They don't exist anymore.
It's okay, KDA still looks good. He can't die again, though.
Okay. True, because it's just one ratio.
Yeah, but we'll know in our heart that it's not perfect anymore.
Yeah, Red Trials is immediately getting dropped. They're trying to open up this mid tower, but it won't go down to the charge. Just getting some extra pocket gold. So you see the entirety of Phoenix in the topside jungle. That's their territory now. However, there isn't so much to gain from there other than division. And I like Iconic's position of just counter jungling immediately. Yeah, other than that, it looks Phoenix's game plan is just definitely playing towards the top side. They have so much utility to provide Sonic that Sonic can just keep up here bullying this Cassante.
Yeah, and it is that Blade of the Rune King rush on the set, just looking to continuously auto attack trade, pairing with that lethal tempo, and just not necessarily maximizing that haymaker damage, and just looking just all at him as the both top laners trade ults to immune each other's, and now the auto attacks come back in as Sonic tries to dodge that pullback but isn't quite able to. But in the meantime, Ezreal gets caught out, burns the flash and the shift, but it's not enough as the Jinx ult comes in. All 3 of Jinx kills has been secured by this rocket so far. So, Sniper showing that he does in fact have a little bit of aim to go with it.
Yeah, just give him a global ulti. It's fine. As
he had one last game.
Something. Tomato is fighting, but Iconic is way too low. They don't feel too comfortable continuing this fight.
It should just back off as Pity is looking for something here, but with everyone backing off, shouldn't be too much as he walked over a ward and almost walked straight into that hook. Would have been a bit unfortunate, but is able to not walk into it as Icy Rain is still getting some more pressure here on this mid lane. This is twice so far that Pity has looked to make a roam top or make a roam bot, and Rain just starts auto attacking this turret down. Looks like it's still above half health though from the minimap, so not getting a lot of work done, but is something as We see Radiant Virtue first item here from the Sejuani. What are your opinions on the Sejuani build? And is Radiant Virtue the right item here?
Oh, Radiant Virtue is so good. It gives Sejuani some good tank stats. It gives her a burst of healing. She's already building tanky, so it's just a lot of utility, especially since after her ulti, her main job is trying to heal for her team. And having that Radiant Virtue heal, broken. I'm stating it here right now, broken.
All right, as Crab is trying to break this freeze, but he's not going to be able to. And now Gale is up here as well. And I think Crab might be going down here, but that ult just pulls him so far away. Barely doesn't get Sonic under the turret, but at the same time, he gets caught out here. Actually dodges the Jinx ultimate to as not quite going down. Did have the Zillion ult on him for a time, but it did expire, but Ignite just wasn't quite enough damage. As now Rain is here to try and protect his top laner and have to be a bit careful here, chasing too far, but looks like they're going to take it. But now Sonic just pulls the Swain back, looking to try and trade this back onto Slap by Crab. One auto attack, but they cannot find it. As Swain is just ghosting, but no, he walks back in.
The Triumph is enough to keep Sonic alive. And Gil is just trying to get away here, but he should just be able to keep dash over the wall.
Was Rain actually flash follows straight into the Itana coming down. So that's going to be a kill traded back 1-for-1. Lots of summoners burned, but it's going to be the Rift Herald going over to the Mambas as well.
Dude, I feel so bad for Crab. He's always like a fraction of a play more, and he's able to get out of that alive, plus a trade kill. At the end there, he just walked back into the Sejuani W and died. It's so sad.
Yeah, however, he just greeted to try and help when he was in such low health to begin with, and unfortunate. But that is the world we live in.
Yeah, he did do good for what has occurred, and currently this small skirmish should be okay. Cassante will still be Cassante. Even after 3 kills, he's trading pretty evenly with
until that lethal tempo stacks up and you let Sonic just keep auto-attacking you. That's maybe the time you want to back off. It looked pretty good until that lethal tempo proc, the Blade the Rune King proc, and then it all went downhill. But looks like Phoenix is going to start looking for their second dragon of the game here, as Mambas, the 4-man, are all running towards it. So we might be getting a bit of a clash here. If we take a look at the items, there looks like everyone's completed their first item, so it's not too much of a disparity. But now Ezreal gets completely caught out. The Zillion ult barely tags him in time, as the traps just barely don't register in time to lock him down. But that might be enough for Mambas to take over this dragon, as Tomato hits another hook, but no one's looking to follow up here. And we'll see if Gale's looking for a steal here, or if they're still trying to contest. It looks like maybe looking for a Hail Mary steal, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get into it with good peel done by Rain. And now the hook lands onto Pity, forces him to burn that stopwatch, but now Sonic is here, and there's still no TP on the Cassante, so he cannot join. Mambas just need to run for their lives, trying to use those glacial augments just to peel themselves out. As Sonic uses the dead body of Thresh to get himself into the fight. And another kill goes down as Pity. Last charge of his ult, looking to get this last charm. It should be coming up here shortly. He steps wide, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter. Sniper's going to go down as Pity barely lives. And that's just a huge teamfight victory for Phoenix over Mambas.
Yeah, Crab didn't call anything about Sonic. Sonic just walked down there. He doesn't even have a teleport. Sonic has learned from our previous criticisms that he will just join objective fights, even after the objective is done. He took that too hard. He took it personally.
Yeah, I just love that interaction there with Seth, that he ults the target the half second as they're dying and just flies in with their dead body. And now he's looking for a trade here on the Crab. It looks like Mambas are trying to counter this out, as Tomato with a little bit of bluff there with that lantern to get Sonic to back off. But I don't think Sonic's too scared of dying here at this point, unless he really gets chain CC'd.
Yeah,
it's kind of threatening.
Pity and Harvey are covering around the top side. They might look for a top play, considering they just saw how many people were up there.
Yeah, this top tower is really low. If they can get this out, that'll be all the outer turrets gone. Might be looking for dive. Crab has not backed off, and now it's too late for him to try.
As
As
they're also
Thresh
coming
is
in.
trying to move up to try and maybe give him a lantern, and that looks like what's going to be needed here. Is he actually just shields him and dashes his way out from the tower? But that's going to be one tower going down here, and see if Phoenix trying to overgreed this, or if they just back off after taking it. It looks like they will just back off and not look for anything else.
Yeah, that really just does open up the map for Phoenix. They have full reign over any objective they want to take over, and all honesty, their mobilized vision, it's in such a good position. As the game gets later on, the Zillion ulti becomes a lot more valuable, and I don't see a way for the Ahri or the Ezreal to die at this point of the game.
Well, we have seen, Freya be caught out in positioning a couple times so far this game. Hasn't been punished so far because he has had that Zillion to back him up there in that last dragon fight, but definitely got to be paying attention to that and make sure you're not able to be the primary engaged target for the Mambas. But if we take a little bit of a step back here, we do see that it's a 5,500 gold lead over to Phoenix. They are completing their second item power spikes here shortly. It looks like Ezreal should be getting there pretty quickly. Ahri just completed her Zonias as well. And the set already has a Stride Breaker plus Belay of the Rune King. So in a really strong spot here. And it's up to the Mambas to try and pick their spot and avoid these unfavorable fights until they can actually catch back up in items.
There's a lot of 2-item power spikes coming in, and the Jinx is still on like components for what looks like to be a Phantom Dancer. The Thresh doesn't even have his mythic
Kraken Slayer on Ezreal.
Oh, okay, I know this build. Kraken Slayer, Ezreal, Essence Weaver into a Navori Blades. It's just rapid fire Ezreal. He constantly has abilities. You do call him a spell slinger after that point. I would know. I got run down by this. It was not a fun time. I was karma of all characters. I dodged his abilities. He has another E up. I'm like, wait.
Well, all right then. I'll take your word for it. But we'll see if he can put this Kraken Slayer to good use in these upcoming fights. As Dragon is spawning in about 30 seconds in, Mambas don't look like they care to contest at all. Everyone backing off, sending multiple people here up top lane. So looks like this will be a free Dragon over to Phoenix, putting both teams to their second Dragon and a soul, nowhere here in the future. As Gale actually goes for the Sunfire second item to complement that Radiant Virtue, which is I feel like it's an interesting play, as Sunfire is mostly based around the passive and the damage it deals, which is kind of goes against what you're trying to do with Radiant Virtue, but
Yeah, but you see, Sunfire, it scales off of max HP. So therefore, whenever Gale ultis, it will have more damage.
Alright, buddy.
It's a Radiant Virtue build, okay? It's not a generalized tank build.
Oh, is the Jinx ult just is a little bit too late to try and secure that dragon? The game has definitely slowed down here in these past couple minutes as Mamba's just looking to scale up a bit more on this Jinx. We'll see. I think with that double longsword, it's going to be Phantom Dancer. It could have been Rapid Fire, but a Charm actually lands, and they force the flash out of the Jinx as now the Thresh gets a little bit poked down and actually gets stunned, as Ahri commits and forces the flash out of the Thresh as well. And Pity just burning both bot lane flashes in a matter of seconds. Well played by him to get both those key summoner spells out.
Yeah, Pity's still looking, he's still fishing. Unfortunately, he missed the last one, but you can tell how much pressure this Ahri pick alone has. And it might be a note to future teams to see how they're gonna pick into it. But so far, both of Rain's picks have been more than lackluster.
Yeah, it's hard for this Swain to try and get into fights right now with, just how weak your top laner is. And Jinx isn't necessarily the champion who wants to start spiking and fighting on 2 items compared to the champions that Phoenix has. So it's definitely hard for Swain to actually get into these fights and start going. But he does have his Rylai's completed now, so is able to offer a lot more control. The problem is there's a lot of dashes on the enemy team, which kind of just ignore the Rylai's slow.
As Pity gets a bit of a trade, it still has to be somewhat careful as the
Just
team
padding
is
the
converging.
damage stats here, but Iconic doesn't actually get over the wall with that blast cone, but the Thresh hook lands straight into the glacial augment. Pity burns that stopwatch and it immediately flashes out with the ult, trying to go for the Great Escape, but he's walking straight into Tomato as he crowds him back into the jungle. And the hook goes just wide, and now Pity is just a little left for dead here as Iconic is going to get that second kill on the board. But Phoenix is just taking that as an opportunity to just rush Baron, and they have it.
Yeah, Pity stalled for so much time. Three members of the map on the bot side, including the jungler. And both the Thresh and the Cassante didn't even get an assist. No gold went into their pockets.
It's definitely a rough one, trading the mid laner for the Baron, and we'll see how much pressure Phoenix can actually put onto this, especially with how strong Sonic is. Very easily can just split up, do a 1-4, and pressure these turrets down with not a lot of wave clear coming out of the Mambas. But for now, they're going to take a quick reset, spend that gold, and we'll see what they end up doing after this reset here. As Sonic gets, backed by that cheeky Swain E or Swain W from Rain. As Pity is back to the scene of the crime again down here in bot lane. This time, there's no Thresh here to land a hook on him, so he should be fine.
Yeah, Viego's already hunting, but it's gonna be up to Black Mama to try to stall this out, get those defensive wards out, and see if they're able to actually land anything with the Thresh.
The Thresh lands onto the Ezreal, but he's able to barely get out of range of that Swain pull. A good bomb from the Zillion has actually stopped the Thresh from following up on the CC, so well played by Harvey, saving his AD carry with more than just his ult. And looks like we're setting up for this dragon that's coming up in a minute, getting full vision control of this bot side jungle, making sure there's no way that the Mambas can actually look to contest, and getting a lot of poke down onto this Jinx, and Pity's actually just going for under the turret. The locket comes out, which is enough to save his life. Well done by Thresh. That's ult down from Pity, and now ult down from the Jinx, trying to find a snipe, but not going to have enough damage there as this cannon minion just continues to poke away at this turret. Not finding a lot of wave clear from the Mambas, but they are going to get it now as Phoenix is back off to maybe retreat to this dragon.
Yeah, their Baron will wear off soon, so this is like a small opening between the Baron and the dragon to actually try to set something up, try to catch Phoenix off guard. If they're able to corral them into Rain's damage and get the Jinx pop off to finally actually pop, then they still have a chance. This is like their win condition at the moment, but they're already getting really split up.
All right, this is actually a good position for the Mambas as Icy Rain gets straight into the backline, and now Jinx forces out the two damage dealers as they already get the Zillion ult coming out on himself. But a huge double bomb into a charm just annihilates the Jinx and Viego, and now that's a triple kill going over to Pity. He's looking for the quadra kill as he's going to take down Rain, but Sonic takes down Slap by Kraven, taking away Pity's Panther.
Yeah, it looked like a good position, but that's probably the best they were going to get out of with Black Mama's team fighting potential. Other than that, they just got caught in the AoE CC, and they left the carries alive for them to just start cleaning the fight up.
I mean, that was just a huge play by Harvey, where he comes out of his own revive and immediately gets a 3-man stun with the double bomb, which a Pity immediately chains into a charm onto the Jinx, and from there the fight is just completely lost for Mambas. They started off so well, like you said, with the kind of forcing out the threats, with Swain positioning himself between the threats and the front line. But just too much damage coming out and utility from that Zillion was enough to stall it out.
Yeah,
And,
even with this Ari Ezreal, you can really see it's so hard for the Black Mama to even touch them in the first place.
Yeah, after that, I don't see how Black Mamba, gets back into this game. They really just need to like stall it out, get Jinx like 4 items, and maybe hope for some front to back where Jinx can just free hit the whole time. But I mean, that's still a long way away, as Jinx doesn't even have 3 items completed. Yeah. I don't think Phoenix is going to give them enough time to scale this. Now the death cap comes in for Ari, so even harder for this Jinx to stay alive.
Ari is so strong. Does this mean that we're not gonna be able to make fun of Harvey's Zillion ever again?
No. See, the one good play on Zillion does not redeem all the hilarious plays on Zillion.
Okay.
Yeah. Harvey, also Frozen Heart Zillion. I'm not quite sure. The Frozen Heart is the best pickup here as his second item, but hey, he wants to frontline a Zillion. He's a tank player at heart, so looking to go all in here. I don't think he wants to take this fight against Crab, but he's looking for it anyway. Gets flayed back, but the charm just immediately takes out the Jinx, not even burning the flash to get away from it. And Pity is just completely unstoppable, landing another charm, just harassing them under a turret. This hook won't matter at all, as Pity still just continue going in with that backup from the Zillion. Knows he has to revive if he needs it, as Tomato has to flash for his life, trying not to die a 4th time here, as they're just completely corralled inside their base. They have more people behind him, as Gale and Freya are already inside the base, and Crab is going to go down once more. And this should be the end of the game, assuming Phoenix want to take it.
Yeah, there's 50 seconds on the Cassante, there's 10 seconds still on the Jinx. Jinx is the only one that could actually clear the waves, and Rain is already almost... He's dead!
And he finds him on the fountain as well! The Arcane Shift to avoid the Viego ult as well, and that's going to be it, as looking for a bit more stat padding here on the fountain, as Sonic goes down, ruining his KDA again. So Phoenix is going to take the clean 2-0 in our first week of the Season 2 over Mambas.
It was just really well played. Good cross-map play, good pick play, good team fighting as well. Phoenix is definitely going to be like one of the top contenders in the season, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, that was just super well played by Phoenix on an individual level and on a team play level. They just seemed to have a good idea of exactly what they wanted to do at all times, and they all committed to doing it, which is one thing you really want to see, is just everyone committing to the play. And even if it's, not the optimal play, at least they were all there, and it turns out well for them.
Yeah, but overall, well played, a good 2-0, and I believe that is all we have for tonight, right?
Yeah, and with that is going to be our last game of the night. Join us next week, as let me check the schedule here. We have the Corgis versus Demons. We'll be playing next week, Friday at same time, 8 Eastern. Hope to see you all there, and have a good night, everyone.